Well, welcome everyone. My name's Thomas Montgomery. I'm with the Institute for Improved Minority Financial Literacy, IIMFL for short. I'm a former SBA advisor. I work for the Small Business Administration through the SBDC, Small Business Development Center, up through July 5th of last year, 2019. I was also a full-time college professor prior to that. I taught financial literacy, small business management, and some other courses, again, to full-time college students, primarily in-person classes, but I did have one hybrid and one online class I taught each semester. And prior to that, I was a high school teacher. I taught accounting, economics, and computer programming. I have 2 graduate degrees, a master's in business administration with the emphasis in strategic planning, and a graduate degree in health administration. I've worked in a number of financial literacy, financial consulting related positions. Probably most noteworthy, I was a senior consultant with Deloitte & Touche out of their Minneapolis headquarters. With that being said, our focus today is talking about accessing capital. It's hard to find a small business that would tell you that they do not need additional access to capital to start or to grow. What we're going to do is we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone today. We're going to do hopefully a pretty good job of giving you some key knowledge tidbits about what it takes to be able to access capital. And then concurrent with that, we're going to talk about our grant-subsidized entrepreneurship program. It is the resource exclusively available through the IIMFL to be able to assist small businesses in accessing capital, plus so much more. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that. I'm navigating off of our website. So you probably see in the top left-hand corner, IIMFL. So if you go to that, you'll see the home page, of course, and I'm over here on the Entrepreneurship Program tab. It starts with our mission, and this is what we live by. We are a nonprofit organization committed to narrowing the racial wealth gap by teaching financial literacy, improving credit scores, both personal and business, and facilitating the development of minority-owned businesses. Now, you can go over and learn a lot more about the different literacy topics that we teach. We have financial literacy educators, and they teach this curriculum in person and online to 3 distinct audiences: young people, adults, and small business owners. And if you're interested in becoming a financial literacy educator, that's fine. That's not the purpose of today's Zoom, but you can learn more about that on the career page. The different workshops are listed here, and there's some training YouTubes as well as a position description. Of course, there's no cost to be a financial literacy educator, but we do a background check on them. Our focus today is talking about how do we help small businesses access capital. And so as I mentioned before, we accomplish that through our Entrepreneurship Program. It is a grant-subsidized program. It is close to being free, but it's not free. It actually requires an expenditure of $99 to get started. When they developed this, they wanted to make it very affordable for any small business, but most would agree having some sort of skin in the game makes sense. That way people are more motivated to complete it. And by completing it, you get a number of benefits, which I'll be discussing today, which includes a certification and a certificate of completion. We have throughout this process financial literacy educators. Actually, you'll be assigned one specifically, so a financial literacy educator, singular, who will be working closely with you. And while we are a nonprofit, some people will say, well, why do you charge anything if you're a nonprofit? Well, the joke in the nonprofit world is no money, no mission, but we do need to pay our financial literacy educators, and so this allows us to do that. Okay, so you'll see as you scroll down here, it's really built upon a 4-prong approach, very practical education. And again, I've taught both at the high school level and more recently at the college level, and I know that you as an adult learner need to make sure that your time is well spent, that what you're learning needs to be relevant, needs to be timely, needs to be applicable. I promise you that the curriculum that we use here in the Entrepreneurship Program is top notch. It's actually award-winning, developed by the FDIC, promoted by the SBA. You won't be dissatisfied, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. We're going to help put together a business plan package through this 4-week process. Now, you might say you already have a business plan, and that's fine. Not all business plans are the same, right? We're looking to develop what we would consider a lender-compliant or investor-compliant loan package. And so the business plan has internal use. It's very valuable for you as an entrepreneur to have a well thought out, well developed business plan. Statistics consistently show small businesses with written business plans and financial projections have a much higher probability of success and greater profitability. So it's good internal, but if we're going to go seek outside money from a number of sources, which I'll talk about, then we need to have that package put together because it's what tells the reader, the external party, your story. Now, when we talk about accessing capital, and I realize not all of you here today necessarily are worried about getting money for your business, but if you are, keep in mind that there's 3 places, and really only 3 places that money can come from. It can be debt-based, which means it's money that you borrow. I'm from the SBA world, and we do a lot of SBA lending. But the background is you can borrow money, which is leverage for your business. In the consumer environment, we're often taught and reminded, debt is bad. But for businesses, we almost always will need an injection of additional capital to grow and reach our potential. So it's called leverage with business. So we can borrow money, and we promise to pay it back. That's category number 1. Number 2 would be equity. We can either put our own money into our business out of our personal pocket or get equity investors that put money into the business. Now, they're not asking to be repaid normally, but they're in it for sharing of the profitability. And then the third scenario for accessing capital is through earned income. So in other words, we're generating more income than our expenses, and we can reinvest back. So at the end of the day, there's only 3 ways to access capital: debt-based, equity-based, or earned income. Some of you might say, well, what about grants? Well, periodically that can be the case, but normally, if you're a for-profit business, you would not want to build your capital raise strategy off of grants. All right, so we're going to help, secondly, build that package that's great for internal use as well as external use. We're going to look at you holistically and make sure that we have a good long-term financial plan that's protecting you and growing wealth. Because the goal of a for-profit business, and I say that because if you're with a nonprofit, I understand a different mission may reign supreme. But if you're a normal business, we'll say that profit is the number 1 goal. Without profit, we won't be around to do any of the other things that we want to do. And so we're going to help you grow your wealth and generate profit. And then if needed, if desired, accessing capital. So that's the 4-prong approach. Let's scroll on down here. So we always want to encourage you to realize not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. You have to, at least to a certain degree, be a risk taker. At least to a certain degree, you have to be action-oriented. Certainly thinking, gathering information, making educated decisions is smart. But one of the biggest differences of people that are successful as entrepreneurs versus those that aren't is the ability to flip the switch on, to take action, to stop talking and begin doing. So we're not here to push you to do any key messages for success, and that's twofold. Not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. And we actually have one of our training sessions, you'll see, is owning a business a good fit for you? And again, our financial literacy educators teach this, and not everyone is cut out to be a small business owner, and that's okay. But secondly is we have to be action-oriented. So what we do with the IIMFL Entrepreneurship Program is we assist entrepreneurs in reaching their potential through a simple and straightforward, transparent 4-week process. Not free, but close to being free. It's grant subsidized. It's $99 a week over that 4-week period, people can pay $99 a week or pay it all up front to simplify it. Now, most importantly, though, throughout that 4-week, and it's a remarkable value, of course, and you'll see that in a moment, but throughout that 4-week process, 2 things are happening. 2 things are happening throughout the 4-week process. We're educating and we're implementing. We're educating and we're implementing. You can go online and find a million different opinions or resources talking about things. But talking doesn't get things done. We need to implement. So our model is based upon educating and implementing. Let me show you how that works. So it's a 4-week process. Most of our financial literacy educators will start a new class every week. We call it a cohort. So you and the others that are starting this week are all part of a cohort, and you all will work together, might even do some group exercises, but you'll finish in 4 weeks. The people that start next week will start on their week 1, and they'll finish in 4 weeks, which would be a week later than you in that example. Okay, so each week you'll see a pattern. We have an educational topic and we have implementation. And that's what we mentioned a moment ago. That's what generates success and results, is we learn, we study, we gather new knowledge, and we apply it. And that's really what we're set out to do. People that just want to learn, you may be dissatisfied because we're going to coach you, we're going to mentor you, we're going to hold you accountable to implement as you move through this process, because that's what generates results. All right, in week 1, our topic is planning for a successful business. I don't know if I like that title or not, but the bottom line is it's addressing not only business plans, but different elements of plans and how the planning process evolves. I think you'll like it. It's hands-on. It's normally about 90 minutes, but your literacy educator may tighten it up a little bit to be only an hour. Your financial literacy educator may be teaching you this in person or online. It can be offered either way. So that's the educational topic for week 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a lender compliant / investor compliant business plan. That's going to include the financial projections. And so we use a state-of-the-art cloud-based platform software. You'll be able to access it. We'll be able to access it. It's step-by-step help and guidance, templates. It's great. Frankly, if you did nothing but week 1 of this program, it's a steal for the $99 or 4 times 99 over the month period, $396. But it's good stuff. So we're going to learn about successful planning, and then we're going to put together a thorough plan for your business, addressing who's your target market, competitive analysis, your marketing strategy, your sales strategy. We're talking about depth. Now, don't feel intimidated at all. It's okay if you're not familiar with this, you don't think you know how to do that. That's what we're here to do. So there's no prerequisites. There's no pre-existing requirements to go through this process. You could be pre-launch, startup, or existing, but this is what we need to have. And we talked about the reason for a strong business plan a while ago, didn't we? We said it's twofold. We use it internally, which increases our probability of success, and then it's read externally if we're looking for capital. So now you're going to see a pattern. So week 2, we have an educational topic. Our educational topic for week 2 is building business credit. Most small business owners do not understand how business credit works, how it's different from personal credit, how to build business credit, how to leverage business credit to access capital for your business that is not predicated on your personal credit. It's great, but most people don't know that. So your financial literacy educator is going to teach you that topic, either in person or online, depending on how your class is set up, and then we're going to implement. What that means is your financial literacy educator is going to help you complete a personal financial statement. We'll use a specific form by the SBA. That doesn't mean that you have to worry about getting an SBA loan, but that's a standardized template. It's called the Form 413. And so that helps determine your net worth. How your personal financial statement is created determines your net worth, because there's a little bit of art as well as to the science to it. So your financial literacy educator is going to help you build your personal financial statement, optimize your net worth. We're going to do an analysis of personal and business credit. You might say, oh, I don't want to use personal credit. I just want to use business credit. Well, that's fine, but we're taking a holistic approach. So no cost, no impact to your scores. We do a soft pull. We have direct pull ability with your authorization, of course. So we'll look at your personal credit profile, your business credit profile, and then work on building your business credit. We want to have a strong paydex score. Those go from 0 or 1 to 100. The higher the number, the better. Need to be 80 or above. Chances are right now you probably have a non-existent or a 0 paydex score. That's important because business credit is visible to the outside world. Unlike personal credit, where you have to have permission, anyone can be looking at your business credit scores. So your clients, your prospects, your competitors, all could be looking at your business credit scores and drawing conclusions of how credible and how strong your business is. When we apply for funding, it's not unusual if it's business funding that business credit's part of that. So that's an important part of what we're going to do, and that'll take place in week 2. And again, just like week 1, just building this business plan is worth more than the $99 times 4. Building out your business credit is worth about 10 times what you're paying just to participate in the class. So it's a great value. Week 3, we move on to financial management. So that's the topic that your financial literacy educator is going to teach you in person or online. And then they or someone they work with on their team is going to sit down with you privately and confidentially and put together a financial needs analysis and start working on your long-term plan. So again, we're looking at this very holistically. Week 4, we have our final education topic, banking and money. We're going to dig into some things that maybe no one has taught you about how you work with your bank and how to have a strong banking relationship. For example, every bank account has a bank rating, and that is based upon a certain algorithm of how you are perceived in the banking world. We're going to teach you how that works and how to optimize that, just as a simple example. So the implementation step here is if you're looking to raise capital, we can assist you with that. And what we do is we do a capital match. So through all the data that's been gathered, confidentially, not shared with anyone, in the process, we can help you understand where you should look for capital. Let me explain. There are 2 reasons why most small businesses don't have access to capital. Number 1 is they don't know what the right source of capital is based upon their mitigating circumstances. And secondly, many of them don't meet the underwriting criteria. And so that creates a significant obstacle. So we can look at your ingredients. Let's say you and I are deciding what we're going to make for dinner tonight. Are we going to make lasagna or barbecue? Well, one thing we should consider is what do we have in the pantry? What do we have in the refrigerator? What ingredients do we have? So some people are going to be very well suited to some types of capital where others aren't. They're more suited to other types. So through this capital match, which is free and it's not required, it's only if you desire it, then we'll look at your overall circumstance and help match you to the right source of capital based upon your circumstances. And again, it could be things like SBA loans or non-SBA loans, lines of credit, business credit cards, investment capital, money from equity investors. It doesn't have to be paid back. There's many, many different options. So that's one thing I want you to take away from today's discussion, please, is to realize that different sources of capital have different underwriting criteria. Some look at personal credit, some don't. Some look at business credit, some don't. There's different requirements, and so it's through this process that we can create a roadmap. Now, you might ask, what are the expected outcomes? Well, at the end of the 30-day process, you're rewarded with 3 things, at least 3 things. Number 1, you'll get a certificate of completion, which is great to demonstrate your diligence and knowledge. This may play a role, actually, if you do go seek funding. Some lenders will acknowledge or recognize, or some even may require, that you've demonstrated that you've gone through the curriculum before you can apply. Second is, as we talked about, we're going to have that business plan, that business portfolio, if you will, that tells your story, that has both internal benefits, so you've thought through things more diligently, you're better prepared to move forward, as well as for external purposes, such as for funding. And then lastly, you're going to have new knowledge, I sure hope, and access to resources that are going to ultimately help you be what? More profitable. That's the number one key. We want to help you be profitable and have a better positioned business. For example, stronger Paydex score, improved bank rating, and so forth. So on our page here, we have an embedded YouTube that reiterates what we've discussed. And then here at the bottom, you'd come in and you'd put your name and email and phone number and any message you have, who referred you if relevant. Again, we're looking for new financial literacy educators to go out and teach. If you'd like to do that, check that. If not, unclick it. Again, we're looking for financial literacy educators, even if you don't want to teach, if you just want to help us develop our educator team, that would be the second box. We're always looking for hosts. Hosts are churches and chambers and co-working spaces, business organizations, business associations. They have a sphere of influence, and so we collaborate and we teach this curriculum with them, and there even can be a revenue share of that $99 a week that we talked about, so it's some extra revenue for them. And then you may just say that you're looking individually to get involved. We're creating our board of directors. You can be on our board possibly, and then the one that's pre-selected here, but you can be selected, is if you'd like to participate in this program. And then with that, you hit the send, that comes into us, and then we'll be able to assist you from there. All right, you can see our contact us information here at the bottom. So with that being said, I'd like to open up some time to answer any questions that any of you have. And remember, we're live 10 a.m. Central, most Mondays through Fridays, for a live version of this like we just went through. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then we'll take care of your questions. Stand by, please.